Hello everyone, this is Jasmine, aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with the Daily Tarot message for today, September 3rd, 2018, and it's Monday, so happy Monday to everyone. And as always, I hope this is reaching y'all well and that you're having a decent morning by the time that I assume that you'll be reaching this or watching this. So, just jumping right into it as usual, the galactic energy or signature for today is the yellow cosmic star, and we're rounding off the end of this wave spell as well as this yellow castle, which is essentially just 4 wave spells that make up a castle, the same way 4 weeks make up a month. So yeah, we're just really wrapping up few cycles today, which is not something I would even just say lightly, because there's just a lot of these transits are taking place within the next couple weeks. Just we have a lot of these planetary shifts as planets are moving into new energies, and all this stuff that I even mentioned yesterday. We have Saturn going direct, which is I feel definitely important collective wise, and I'll talk more about that later on as well. But there's just a lot, and so making sure you're getting the rest and taking the time to just really take it to yourself, not feel the need to constantly do or feel like you have to stay busy. And it was really brought to my attention as I was reading and noticed that all of the planets are in these, or they will be moving into these feminine energies. And so with all 10 planets being in these more intuitive and more passive energies, it's definitely, I mean, not just that, but even as we've been in this retrograde season, it's all of this I feel has just been in context of us needing to relax. And it's not necessarily in oh, relax, just chill out and go with the flow kind of a happy-go-lucky, but also so much more in there's a lot more to be done and not doing, and then there's a lot more to be received and understood when not in such a physical movement, but also in our emotions and our mental in such a reactive state. This doesn't always have to be, in the middle of a conflict or circumstance, but just in our everyday lives, something that I have a challenge with all the time is feeling like I have to always be busy. Like every time I finish one thing, I'm so fast to jump into the next thing. And I mean, maybe that's part of the Gemini in me that honestly enjoys being able to multitask. But I'm really starting to realize it's important for me, especially with tasks that I hold a high priority in wanting to digest it or integrate what's going on. I really need to take that time to really sit with things, and not just sit with it, but then afterwards to just let myself relax and ground before I just move into my next thing. So this is just all of part of this Virgo season, honestly, where it's not just us looking at life in a very mundane sort of way of being well, these are the changes I would like to make, and um, in my work or whatever, which those changes are definitely important too. But I mean mundane more in a worldly way, where this is really us looking at things in a much more spiritual way. And this doesn't have to be in a sort of anything crazy intense or hard to understand. I just feel even on a very basic level, a lot of us are looking at our lives and seeing what we honestly have always just never resonated with, but it's just we've always just went along to get along. And now we're just really having to be honest with ourselves, being honest with our feelings about all kinds of things and all the people that we're around, and our bodies, and just a lot of things. So I always say, and I maybe that's kind of myself playing a joke. Every time I say I'll keep it short and sweet, I never do. So But yeah, so just jumping into it. So the cards that I pulled for the collective energy, or just how the collective is feeling right now, is Seven of Cups, and in the guidance here followed with a Nine of Cups. So I feel this actually as, especially because the moon is also in Gemini, it's beginning to move into Cancer, I believe, towards the end of the night, where we're really being, like I was even just saying earlier about all these planets being in these feminine energies, of us really diving further into our imagination, of us allowing our minds to be open. We're really moving into newer territory, mentally speaking, as far as really working with our imagination, working with our mental behavior and mindsets to really provide the manifestations and uh, the the wish fulfillment, or I don't want to call it wish fulfillment, but the fulfillment of our desires with this Nine of Cups. Um, what I also feeling here though, because I wanted to look up what the seahorses kind of meant, because it's been popping up for me around me quite a bit and for quite a while. And what I feel here for the collective as well, though, for the seahorses, is this energy of being content with where you are. And I feel like, again, this is resonant with what I was talking about yesterday and what I've just been kind of talking about in the past couple weeks. And so I hope this isn't redundant, but of matching the vibration through your emotion, of the things that you pull in and the things that you manifest being based upon how you are feeling. And I say this especially as someone with a lot of experience with that, with uh, I filter everything through my emotional body, really. So I am learning myself to see, okay, when I'm feeling this way, I'm pulling in this timeline, I'm pulling in these experiences. When I'm feeling that way, I'm pulling in those experiences and that timeline. Like, that's, what I'm feeling here. And ultimately, though, I feel like that's just like a side aspect here I really feel like the guidance is about us really allowing our minds to float through our imagination, to be guided by inspiration, the way that I see the lightning in this card and the way it kind of like strikes the dragon's head, or I'm not entirely sure if it does, but that's what makes me think of is, allowing yourself to be striked, by inspiration, allowing yourself to just kind of go where you're, not just where your imagination, but just where your creative desires and your creative passions take you. And the guidance here being this Nine of Cups again, of feeling that accomplishment, or not necessarily just accomplishment, but of really feeling that sort of contentment, and bringing that through a matching of your vibration, and then seeing how that really actually makes things change very quickly, or brings things more quickly, time related, or time relatively speaking. So yeah, even with the Six of Cups here, or Six of Swords at the bottom, about us moving to a more resonant mind state here, I feel more resonant and more clear. And I feel this is about a higher mind state. With the six, I feel like this is us resonating to a higher level of us being able to move to a new level of mental clarity, but also for us to be able to see things even underneath that. I have this Five of Coins, and the way I look at it is of us, also working with our third eye, learning discernment, of us practicing discernment, and you know, in a more practical way, where we're really having to see, which is what I even feel here maybe with the Seven of Cups, in a way of us really having to follow the path through a more intuitive approach, as opposed to there being like some sort of laid out way. Because really the paths that many of us are taking, and the choices that many of us are making, and the ideas that we're creating and coming into haven't been done. And so all of this is us, you know, essentially kind of being the pioneers in a sort of way. And so we're really just being led by our higher selves and by divine guidance to these new stages and through these new stages of our life. So, and I wanted to pull an affirmation card for the collective. I forget entirely who actually created these cards. It's actually here at the bottom of the deck, I just seen. So I'll actually include a link to the blog site. So if anyone wants to print these out and make them themselves, I'm sorry, then you can totally do so. But I use these affirmation cards for myself, and I want to do this for the collective, just to pull an affirmation that we can keep in our mind, or just something in a more practical sense, outside of just the tarot messages that I have here. And so the affirmation I did have for us is, I can do hard things. And so, I mean, you can do a variation that fits for you with this, but I definitely feel like this is resonant with not just today, but with the energies we've been feeling, as well as the energies we're even moving into, of us, you know, knowing that we can do this, that, you know, this isn't anything that we cannot handle, because it has been given to us and because it has manifest. So, and in knowing that, even when it feels like really, really difficult, which, I mean, it's easy, I guess, to say, and I know firsthand, you know, how easy it is to say that and then be in the moment, and it just feels like, you know, that moment is forever, and then you forget like that moment is not forever, and you just have to really recenter yourself and bring yourself back to your truth, and bring yourself back, you know, out of that moment in a healthy way. But I don't want to get off course, so let's just end this here. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and supporting. I hope that this brought some sort of clarity or any sort of confirmation that anyone was seeking to receive or was hoping for. So, yeah, as always, as well, check out my Instagram. Link is down below for more content, and as well as my site for info on booking sessions with me. Otherwise, I believe that's really it. So, without further ado, I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday. And yeah, I'm excited to put out some awesome content tomorrow. Otherwise, I will be talking to y'all then. And I send y'all much love and wish y'all many, many blessings.